There we go. Hey everyone, I am Kadesha. Welcome to Open Source Friday. Today I'm excited to have Sails.js maintainer on the show, and we've been having a bit of technical issues, so hopefully we can resolve it soon. But let me know where you're tuning in from. Today I'm joining you from Michigan. So super excited to be talking about Sails.js to learn how we can build enterprise grade Node.js applications super fast, according to Sails. So I'm curious to see that and also learn some more about his other JavaScript projects. So that should be interesting. So I'm going to bring Kelvin up on the stage. Hey, Kelvin, happy Friday.
Hey, how you doing?
There we go. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's working now, right?
It's working now. For context, earlier we couldn't hear each other, so I was a bit worried that our mics wouldn't work, but here we are. So we have Italy in the house, London from the UK, we have Canada, Tunisia. We have Tunisia. I'm not sure where that is, but welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We have Nigeria. So introduce yourself for us. Tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about what Sails.js is.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kadesha. Um, I'm really happy to be here. So my name is Kelvin. On the internet, I'm known as Dominus_Kelvin. I'm a full stack JavaScript developer. I've been working in the web dev space professionally since 2018. And yeah, I like talking about JavaScript. I'm sort of like a self-proclaimed JavaScript evangelist, of course, for sales as well. So I really like teaching folks. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, so on Twitter, on my blog, on YouTube, everything JavaScript. So yeah, so Sails.js. So if you know Rails, Ruby on Rails, Laravel in the PHP world, or any full stack framework like Django, Sails is that framework for JavaScript in the server side, right? So Sails
Mhm.
give you the building blocks to build full stack web applications that are enterprise grade. I'm going to talk about that in a bit, why we say enterprise grade. So it just give you the building blocks, give you everything you need to like quickly get started building full stack application with JavaScript. So that was Sails is in a nutshell.
Nice. So tell us more. Why enterprise grade? Where did this all come from? Like, how did this start?
Yeah, for sure. So it started with the founder of Sales or the creator, Mike McNeil, brilliant
Mm-hmm.
mind. So the history of sales law is that Mike needed a full stack framework to build web applications in JavaScript for his client because he had the web dev shop. So
Mm-hmm.
so back then, even now, if you want to build like a server side application in JavaScript, you reach for something like Express. You get your
Mm-hmm.
template engine, or you build an API and then you use something like React, Vue, or Svelte on the front end. So Mike wanted like a holistic solution that sort of like mimics Rails, because Rails is the gold standard for like a full stack web applications framework.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was what. So I really like understanding the why of a tech. So it just gives me confidence that the why for sales is not for like, so hey, I built something, but I need something to build stuff for enterprise. So sales have been
Mm-hmm.
used in different application settings, e-commerce, for enterprise. Fun fact, even Postman use Sales, if you know Postman.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Postman.
yeah, sure.
Awesome. So tell me, like, what's different about an enterprise grade application from, let's say, a startup application, from, let's say, like
Mhm.
a little project that we deploy and say, hey, I built something.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing, enterprise. So just a quick one. You could also use Salesy for anything you want. Like, so sales will
Okay.
grow with you from startup to like whatever you want to build. But while sales is enterprise grade, is because first of all, it's boring and stable. Sales has been out since 2015.
Oh,
So,
nice.
and we are still at version 1.x. So to tell you how stable the framework is, because one of the vision of the our BDFL, which is Mike McNeil, is that sales must remain stable because it's being used by so many companies, right? So it's one, you get stability and you get tried and tested building blocks, not something new and shiny, but something that is stable and boring, and
Stable.
just get out of the way so that you can focus on building your logic. And another fun
Mm,
fact, if you know Paystack, the, so it's like Stripe for Africa. Yeah, so
okay.
also owned by Stripe because Stripe bought them. So when they needed a full stack framework to build their user facing APIs, they reached out for sales for the same reasons I'm telling you, because it's stable, it lets you move really fast, it gives you all the building blocks. So what you need for like a web framework, first of all, you need routing. You need something
Mm-hmm.
called an ORM, which will let you talk to your database really quickly, because if you're going to deal with anything real world, you're going to need data. So sales give you like a very robust ORM to do that. And a ton of things like middleware, we call them policies, right? And also WebSockets for real-time apps, because Mike wanted to build real-time web applications. So with Socket.io baked into Sales, it's very easy to build a real-time web application. Yeah.
Mm. Nice. I love that you've built in Socket into Sales.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see it. If you have a demo, we would love to see it, to see like
Mhm.
how we can do our very first Hello Sales app.
Yeah.
So let me go through the comments. So Mohammed said, Tanisha is in Africa. How come you didn't know? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mohammed.
How come you didn't
I'm
know?
sorry. I've never heard of that country before. I apologize. um, I love the brilliance with sales. You go immediately to production with a basic setup. That's amazing. I can't
Mhm.
wait to see it and to see how fast we can get to prod with sales. So whenever you're ready, Kelvin, let me know. Or do you prefer Kelvin or Dominus?
Yeah, Kelvin is good. Dominus is not even
Okay.
my name. It's just one of those things you've had for so long you can't change.
Yeah,
So
your
it's
handle.
just so a fun fact, Dominus is Latin for Lord. I heard it somewhere
Mm,
some years ago, so it just, yeah, very, very
nice.
geeky. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, you can start share your screen and then I'll bring it up on the stage so we can
Yeah, for sure.
take a look at how we can do hello sales. We have Indonesia
Hi.
here. Thanks so much everyone for joining. Super excited to have you today. If you have any questions about sales, I popped the repo in the chat. So if you have questions, just let us know and happy to ask Kelvin your questions whenever the time comes. So let's get
Hi.
into sales.
Mhm. Yeah, so I believe my screen is all shared.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So to get started with sales, we do have like a CLI app. So I'm going to show you two ways to get started with sales. Um, so all you need to do is run npm I, then dash
Mm-hmm.
G sales, right? So this install the sales CLI. With this, you can scaffold a new sales project. So, just like Rails, or any framework, so your sales new, then let's say GitHub, demo one. Let's go this one because I'm going to trash it in a bit. So when you do this, it's just going to, tell you, okay, do you want an empty application, or do you want like a web app with auth login and password recovery? So this is the first one is going to give you like a server side templating with something called EJS, embedded JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
So all that means is that when someone visits your page, the server will run a template engine which will send back the HTML. So it's not client side rendered, right? So if you want that, that's also cool. So yeah, so I'm just gonna pick two just to demo, like, Sails pretty quickly. And then I'm going to show you the boring JavaScript stack, which I know some people here
Mm,
already, yeah, waiting to hear that, because I just launched the 0.1 beta version of it, and I'm going to demo it to
nice.
you today as well, so you see what I mean.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah, so which is your favorite? Is it like Vue, React, or Svelte? Do you have
I'm
any
a
favorite?
React gal.
Oh, React.
I know it's
Okay,
not
okay.
really in fashion right now, but
No,
yeah.
it's still good. I have great respect for React. I'm a Vue dev.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you the Vue part
Yeah, that's fine.
and the React part of the boring JavaScript stack. So I'm really not gonna let this. Let me move this away. Yeah. So I'm not gonna let this finish because I have something prepped for you all. So okay, yeah. Let me just show you this like risk
Hmm.
crash one demo one. So now sales is all, so you have your first sales app, right? So you could, so lift, it's called sales lift. This will run your dev server, sales lift. And
Mm.
yeah, very old
You
maritime,
leaned into
piratey.
the maritime themes.
Yeah, right. So if we check this out in CZ, this is the browser I use, and this is what you get. Like, you just, you get a page that just, tell you that, okay, your app is live. But
Okay.
let's open this up and let's see what's under the hood. So I'm gonna, yeah. So first of all, let's just talk about the project structure. So most times you're
Yeah.
going to be in the API directory. So the API directory is going to be where you
Can
spend
you
like
zoom?
80% of, yeah.
Sorry, can you zoom in
I
a
could,
little?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That
Thank
work?
you. Yeah.
Uh, and do you prefer dark mode? I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Light mode is fine. I'm
It's,
not one of
oh,
those.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. So 80% of the time I'm going to spend here in the API directory. So here's going to have your controller. So Sails is very MVC. So MVC is a very stable architecture for building web applications, which is the model view controller. So you're going to see our
Hmm.
controllers here, which are sort of like actions in your server that when a
Hmm.
user visits a page, the action is going to handle it. So like, okay, I want to see the login page, then the action handles that. Then we have helpers for just code you want to reuse. Models are just, you model your database tables with them.
Hmm.
So you have like a user model here and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you a complete project very soon, but just like from the ground up. Then here, just your configs, I really like Sails because it has a lot of configurations that you could do for things like
Nice.
sockets, the session, your routes. So routes, this is how we configure routes in Sails. We have a routes.js file. You just give it like, so it's a JavaScript object, plain old JavaScript object, with the key being the route you want. So if you want like the home route, then the action, right, to handle that route. And yeah, so that's basically it. So the page you're seeing right now, let me show you where you could find it. So it's called homepage.ejs.
Hmm.
So what EJS is just, it's a server-side templating engine which lets you write your templates. Then on the fly, we compile it down into HTML. So this is all boring stuff, just like, so everything here was inline, so we don't have to like reach out for anything, and you all load up. And this file is what you see right here. All right. So this is all fun and good, but I started my career in web dev with like a front end framework called Vue. And after seeing this, I really love how Sails let me build really fast, but I kind of still want like a client side driven single page application, right? So that's what led me to create the boring JavaScript stack, which I'm going
Yeah.
to show you. So it's still Sails, right? And but it's Sails is Tailwind CSS, Vue, React, or Svelte. So anyone you want to
Mm.
use, you could choose. Yeah. So it gives you
Interesting.
this. Yeah. So the thing is, it gives you this modern monolith of building a single page application, because in the past, if you want to build a single page application, you need an API, right? So you build an API, then you build a single page application. That's two repos, and that's double routing and everything. But with the boring JavaScript stack, you only need, everything is going to be in one single repo, and you still get to keep your single page application and also the robustness of Sails. So, let me show the code. Um,
Well, and a quick
yeah,
question is,
oh
can we
yeah, for
use
sure.
TypeScript? Are we able to use TypeScript with Sails out of the box?
So Sales does not so the first scaffold you get for Sales is all JavaScript, but you can use TypeScript if you want to. So on our docs, there's a configuration that you all just have to do to like set up TypeScript if you want to do that. And also CoffeeScript, if you're into that, we also have like support for that too. Um, I'm working. So this is something in the works called Shipwright, which is like a modern asset pipeline for sales, which is going to be built on ES-Build that will let you use TypeScript for your client-side applications or your client-side logic out of the box without even doing anything. So that's still in the works. But for today, you could just do that setup to get TypeScript or CoffeeScript if that's what you need. All right. So to use the boring JavaScript stack, you could just run nps create sales. Today you can use it. I just launched a template for Vue, right? So once you run this, so let's do this again. It's going to ask you to choose a framework, right? So Vue, React, or Svelte. So once you do this, it will scaffold the project for you, and all you have to do is run npm install and run sales lift. That's it. And what's the difference between this one? Because I really do not like when you make a new project. So in a framework like Laravel, they have templates that let you move really quickly, like user authentication, password recovery, and all that. But we don't really
Mhm.
have something like that really in the JavaScript ecosystem. So the boring JavaScript stack is trying to like fix that with the very first template called Melo. So once you pick this, it's just going to copy files, but I'm not going to run this. I'm just going to use the local version of it. But this is exactly how it's really fast to get the file downloaded from GitHub, and you could just run npm install, then sales lift. But for today's demo, we're going to just go into the boring JavaScript stack, like the local build of it, and run sales there. So what I'm going to demo is exactly what you will see when you scaffold a new project using nps create sales. Okay.
And this is with the
So
boring JavaScript stack.
yes, the boring JavaScript stack. So it's based on sales. It's just
Mhm.
an opinionated stack, which is Tailwind, Sales, and Vue, React, or Svelte. Okay. So unlike the first one you see, you get like a full application that have like a landing page, login and sign up all working, password recovery, even OAuth with Google is already in there. Like, just think how hard it will be for you to implement something like continue with Google. You might reach out for something like Firebase or like
Yeah.
a third party to like do that, but it's all baked in. It's all the code is for you because it's open source, of course. So you could just get in there and just get started fast.
Nice.
So that so that's the goal of the project, is to like let you move really quickly. And notice, I don't know if you could see, everything is single page. It's a single page application. That means the
Mhm.
navigation is client side. There's no refresh, but it's still a sales app. I'll show you how it works in a bit.
Interesting.
Right. And
Yeah.
we can log in. Yeah, we could log in now. Hope I didn't trash my last account. Okay, I probably did. Okay. All right. So anyways, I could just easily sign up. I think I did trash my last account. Yeah, so I'm just gonna Kelvin. Yeah, it's good to demo this. Yeah.
So, are you only
And
able to use while you're doing that? Are you only able to use Vue, React, and Svelte? Like, can you use other frameworks?
well, so the what powers this is called inertia. So inertia came out from the Lava ecosystem. So it's like it's going to replace your router for any of those frameworks. So right now, the official router
Mm.
supported is Vue, React, and Svelte. I don't know, it's pretty easy. Okay, I won't say pretty easy, but in theory, any framework you want, you could actually support with the stuff that is being built. So it's adapter based. So you could just build an adapter for your framework. So maybe you're using Solid. I don't know about Angular because I think Angular is made to be like more holistic than just using it for the clients. So yeah, so I just registered, like, no, notice that this is something that won't be trivial to do, where you get to like send an email out of the box. So
Yeah.
right now, yeah, so an email is being sent. So I wrote a package called Sales Mail. So it was abstracted from the boring JavaScript stack itself. It lets you easily send emails using SMTP, using Resend, or any of those um, providers out of the box. So for now, we are using what we call the log mailer. So I don't really want to send the mail anywhere. I just want to log it. So this is for dev mode. So you could see I have the log here for the email, but this is what's going to be sent. If you want, I could show you how to use something like Node Mailer for it. So I'm just going to copy this. And if I paste it here, it's going to verify my email for me. And you don't ever have to write this code. It's all done for you. You just have to modify and move forward. Right. So the email has been verified successfully. And when I continue, you could see I'm already logging. Right.
Nice.
Yes, think how easy it will be for you to build your business logic when you don't have to do user management, password recovery, and all that stuff because it's all built in. So this is something I'm really ambitious about. I really want to let people build really quickly with JavaScript because it's kind of ironic. We have a very powerful language, but people still reach out for things like Laravel or Rails when they want to build web apps like in the full stack, right? Because we don't really have the tooling, we have the performance, but we don't have the guardrails that lets you move quickly. So for something
Mm-hmm.
like Laravel, this has been in Laravel from day one. So you don't have to worry about authentication. Email sending is already done. I know today that if someone like wants to send an email, they'll tell you, okay, get a third party service. But I don't really like reaching out for third party services except I must. So with the boring JavaScript stack, you have email already in there. You have OAuth with Google. You don't have to use
Mm-hmm.
Firebase because it's all implemented locally. It's your code. You see how it works. I just get it
It's
running.
amazing.
So
And
for
all
sure.
of this is ready outside of the box with the boring
Yeah,
JavaScript stack.
outside of the box,
That's
like
that's
what?
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
That's pretty cool.
And
What are no, keep
okay, go
going.
ahead. Okay, for sure.
What are some other
So
features of the boring JavaScript stack that you're excited about?
yeah, definitely. So the features, right? So if we're talking about the boring JavaScript stack, we cannot stop talking about sales, right? Because out of the box, I have the robustness of sales, which I've said. So I have an ORM. So if I show you what I mean by an ORM, I'm just gonna open up this. So if I go to something like login, like I said, the code is all yours, right? So you could see how we are logging in. Let me quickly. So this bits user.find one, it comes out
Mm-hmm.
of the box with sales where you have your JavaScript objects being mapped one to one to like your database table. And because sales ORM is database agnostic, you could easily swap out your database on the fly. So one thing I like doing, or which I've seen being done, is that maybe you said, okay, like for your users table, you want to use one database for it. Then for maybe product, you could use any other database for it. So it's all out of the box. All right. And styling is made easy with Tailwind. So you don't have to bother yourself with, maintaining a CSS file. I know there's all the big debates whether Tailwind is better, but for me, what makes me move quicker is better, and Tailwind make Tailwind does that for me. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
better. And what else am I excited about? I'm excited about the templates we're building, right? So this is just the very first template called Mellow. I have plans for building other templates that we have the one for Vue that's already out now. It's still in beta. There's still gonna be some tidy up that needs to be done, but today you can use it. And the good thing is that you have the code, it's yours. You can modify it as is. You don't have
Yeah.
to wait for me. You just have this. I think it gets you 40 or 50% going once you start using
I
this.
mean, yeah.
And yeah, definitely.
Because we do a lot of the same things on the back end all the time when we're
Yep.
spinning up an application. So it's like having what is it, npm install sales and then sales lift,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah.
have an out of the box solution just ready to be customized to your particular business use case. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Lennox has a question. He asked, can you talk succinctly about how inertia takes care of the need of building apis in tbjs?
Yeah. So I've had to face this myself. So I wrote an article for Offerzen recently, and I've begun a series of talk called "Do you really need other JavaScript?"
Mm-hmm.
And the boring JavaScript stack lets me write less JavaScript, and that's what um, learning is alluding to. in the sense that when you are building a single page application today with something like maybe Next.js or Next or just like maybe React, right? When you need data or you need to do some things in the server, your first idea is I need an API, right? And
Mhm.
think about this. You're maybe this is not like for a very large team. You're just starting at the project. You just want to quickly tinker on stuff. Now you find yourself maintaining two routes. You route on the client. You route on the server. Yeah, you have cause errors here and there, um, and a ton of this, and even JWT authentication. With what we have now, we are using good old boring session auth that always work. All right. So the boring JavaScript stack will take. You will never need to write an API because your single page application is embedded inside the server side framework. All right. So your routing is handled server side. So that means you could use the server side policies or the middleware. So something like authorization is not the breeze. Have you ever seen those sort of websites where you visited, you're already logged in, but you get to see a flash of the login button before your profile avatar?
Yes.
Yes, so that happens, right? Because of things like that, right? Where so they are making a call to the API, which is a latency, right? But with this stack, the single source of truth is the server side. So that means before your page is rendered, all the computation has been done in the backend. So you never see a flash of anything. And again, spinner first is a thing of the past because I believe that if a page needs data, don't show the users a spinner, just show them the data, right? But of course, you can't help it if you are using a single page app on one place and an API. But with the boring JavaScript stack, the data a page needs comes with it, and it's still a single page
Nice.
app. So you have all the goodies of single page apps and all the strength of a server side framework.
I love that. I love that. And
Yeah.
Toby Solution has a question. They say, when you say that it's database agnostic, does this mean that I can use SQL or no SQL database and that it still works with no extra configuration?
Absolutely. In fact, the first
Wow.
time I saw this, I was, you're kidding, right? Like, how can you do that? But it's literally
Right.
true. I've had to swap Postgres for like MongoDB on the fly, and I didn't change anything that just the driver. That's
No
how.
way.
No, that's how. No, like you can't make this up. Really, you could try it, and like I said, with how sales is structured, you could use six databases if you want. If you're that adventurous, like it doesn't care because it has this unified API to access every database. So all you need to do is to tell it, okay, use this database, use that database, and you could just plug them and take them out on the fly. It's crazy,
That's
but it's true.
amazing. I,
Yeah.
I don't get excited about things a lot because I personally, as a dev, I like using templates. I like using things that are
Hmm.
already done, so I don't have to worry about the configuration. So I can just go ahead and build what I want to build. And
Hmm.
this just excites me because I'm just like, ooh, I need to give sales a try when I'm
Yeah.
building demo for my talks and stuff for GitHub because this is amazing. And I just want to say,
Yeah.
hey, Roselle, I see you in the audience. Thanks for joining. Um,
Anyways, yeah.
and Lennox is also thinking exactly what I'm saying. They say what I think is the boring JavaScript stack was simply born to make full stack devs with JS easy. Amazing. I
Absolutely.
completely agree. So
Yeah.
Kelvin, if you want to show us the view demo, we are all ready to see.
Yeah, for sure. So, um, believe it or not, so I like a tech that's abstract the technology from you. You see this page you're looking at? This is a view component, really.
Nice.
But you never know, and except you want to dig in. So let's dig in, right? So so
I can't
this
believe how
is
easy this is. I feel like I'm being punked.
I no I you're not being punked, but I'm just going to go a little bit in stages. I promise you're not being punked. So look at this JS. So we have this assets folder. Inside the assets folder, we have JS and we have pages. So the way the boring JavaScript stack is that your React views Vert components can be standalone pages. All right.
Mhm.
So when we look at this, you could see, okay, let's look at the login page, right? So no, let's look at something more easy, simpler. Okay, let's do login anyways. So let me show you what's happening here. Look at this. This is a login.view file, right? This is a view file, and I would also show you the React version since you, uh,
That's okay. I know
yeah,
a
since
little
you like
view. It's
React.
okay. I understand it.
Mhm. So good. So here we have a view template, right? So you do all your client side things, and of course, beautiful tailwind. I know if you think it's messy, I love it. Um, so this is just the page. This is the login page you've been looking at. And what actually powers it, because I said the routing is done in the backend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we go to routes.js and we look for login, so we have a get login, right? And we have a controller. So in the controllers folder, you could have several controllers, which are just folders with the files being the action. So we have something called like a view login controller. What does this bad boy do? So if we open it up, the only thing it's doing is saying sales, use inertia, render a component called login. And
Mm-hmm.
inertia already knows the pages folder is going to use that to look for a component called login and render it as the page. That's it. And you could send any data you want. Yeah. And you could send any data you want to be rendered in the component as props. Okay. So there's view props, Svelte props, React props. You could send it. I'll show you where I'm sending that in. So let's say, let me look for a component I'm sending stuff. If you forgot, send. Am I saying this stuff here? Okay, okay, good. This is I'm not sending. So I'm just sending emails here. So the good thing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts from the server, and it's a good thing, right? Because we're all moving to the servers these days, anyways, with React server components and stuff. So we're going back to the server. Sales is already in the server, so the servers handles the routing. You're never routing on the clients, right? But it feels like an SP. I don't want to go into the detail because I could geek out for 2 hours talking about it. It excites me, but I'm not sure you want to talk about that. So what let me show you something called app.js, right? So I said before that when you use the boring JavaScript stack, use inertia to replace your router for React or Vue, right? So this
Okay.
is what's handling us knowing what component to send at a time. Okay, so we have
Okay.
a create inertia app which will resolve. So we're saying, hey, what page should we use? So this name, the page name is being sent when we call this. When we do something like this. So render login, this is the page name to use. And this is how we know what page to show. All right. And
Mm.
here we're just doing a little bit of setup, which we just mount the app. And this is for like progress when we're loading stuff. So you get to see that thing being shown there. That's literally it. And you don't have to write this because you're using the boring JavaScript stack. It's all taken care for you. All you need to
Nice.
do is to write your pages. You never author anything here, except you want to like do stuff, but you will never do anything here. And that's it.
That's
Like
awesome.
view files and sales files. Yeah, go ahead.
I I was just saying that's awesome. I love how excited you are about this because you know what? I too am excited. And best
All right.
believe moving forward, I will be using the boring JavaScript stack to build all the JavaScript
Yes,
things
please.
with React out of the box. Because you
Yeah.
know we do. I came across this application, this website the other day, and essentially they were selling what you have as a free open source project. For
Wow.
Next.js, they did all the routing, all the authentication. They had a lot of integrations
Mm-hmm.
like with Stripe and with Gmails,
Ooh.
all the things that you would need to build a startup application. They were selling it
Mm-hmm.
for thousands of dollars. And I was like, wow, this is such a great idea. And here you are with the boring JavaScript stack with Sails.js saying, hey, here's how to use it. Here's what comes out of the box. And it's free. It's completely free.
Yeah,
And you can use it to build
absolutely.
enterprise grade applications. That is super cool to me.
Yeah, definitely. So quickly
There
before
was
we move
a
on from the go ahead.
one question that came in about performance. So, do you have any performance measures on the waterline or ORM compared to other ORMs or SQL builders?
So I think Mike has some benchmarks and demos for that. I'll probably bring a link. So when people talk about performance, I mostly think about it in like you know, how stable is this thing, right? So
Mhm.
I know there are some other cool ROMs out there. I haven't had them on my YouTube channel because of um, the show I do, right? But the waterline, so I've been using Sails and Waterline since 2018, and I've never had an issue to say like, whoa, performance. Like there's a bottleneck here. I've never had that. So I don't think you will run into performance. Waterline is really, really good and stable. And like I said, a ton of folks are using this already. Okay, my dark mode kicked in. So a ton of folks are using this today. Yeah, right. Yeah. So for those dark mode folks, it's for you, right? So there are several companies I know who are using Sails and Waterline. We've never had
Mm,
like a complaint about performance, right? So I think it's really good. It's not like the next edge shiny thing, but it's really good in terms of performance. I know people who are building games with Sails, like real time games in
wow.
Sails that have to do with the yeah. It's called Kotu.cards. Is online. You could play it with WebSockets. It's built with Sails. If
Wow.
I could find it, yeah. So it's stable and it's good, and you
So
could
I
check it
do
out today.
that is
Yeah.
awesome. I do have another question, and this may be a silly question,
Mhm.
but what is waterline? I've never come
Ooh.
across waterline before.
Oh, you really want me to geek out on this, huh? Okay, fine.
Just
Um,
very quickly,
so
very briefly, I
yeah, for
did find the
sure. So
repo.
mhm, yeah. So waterline is the ORM, which is an object relational mapper that comes with
Mhm,
sales. It's first party to sales. So what that does is that we don't want you to write SQL by yourself, like select star from users. Who wants to do that, right? So with something like Waterline, you use JavaScript object to do all your query statements. So the ORM sits between your JavaScript code and your backend, which is your database. So if I write um, user.find, that maps to select star from users. All right. So, but it gives you this JavaScript abstraction to your database call. So that just sits in a nutshell. So it's called Waterline for Sales. So there are different ones out there. There's Drizzle, which is the new kid in the
mhm.
block in terms of ORM and SQL builders. There's Prisma. I think that's one everyone should know, right? Prisma.
Yeah, I know
So
Prisma.
yeah, so it's exactly like Prisma, but baked into sales. So it's more first party to sales.
Got it, got it, got it, got
Yeah.
it. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Mhm.
And I'm being cautious of time here. So tell me, like, how did you get involved with Sails.js? Like, how did you become the lead maintainer?
Yeah. So I've been the lead maintainer for like a couple of months now after SalesConf. So I've been using Sales since 2018, and I was looking for a full stack framework that looks like Laravel for JavaScript. That was literally it because I've used Express. I always had to piece everything together. NPM install this, NPM install that. There's no project structure. Everyone Express project looks different. So I wanted something with a lot of structure. So I found Sales, and classical me, I couldn't shut up about it. So I'm on Twitter. I'm writing articles. I'm telling everybody, hey, come use Sales. So I've been doing this in 2018, right? So the maker of Sales, Mike McNeil, noticed me,
Mm,
and that was it. So he loved my enthusiasm for sales. And after I did salescast.com, which is a platform to learn full stack JavaScript, mostly based on sales, I
mm,
also started the Salescast community, which is like the place for Sailsjs nerds to come geek out and ask their questions. And then
mhm,
I started doing the sales conference, like SalesConf. I've been doing it online since I think 2020. So this year was the third year we did it. And that was when in Mike's keynote, he made me the lead maintainer of it, literally, for just being passionate and just, I've had a lot of why using sales is old, it's dead, but I like it. It's boring, it's stable. I can do stuff with it. Like I could run circles around anything shiny because of sales, especially with the WebSocket things and the ORM. It's just so stable and let me just go lightning fast. Yeah. So
yeah.
that's the
Listen,
journey in a nutshell. Mhm.
much like you, I like the boring stuff too. One of my biggest gripes with the JavaScript community is all the frameworks. Oh my goodness. Oh
Mhm.
my goodness. Wasn't it like a few weeks ago there was this huge blowout on Twitter about was it
Mm-mm.
Node? Was it Node or NQ?
Yeah.
Which it was
Node
Node,
versus
right?
Bun. Node
Because
versus
of Bun.
Bun.
And I was Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Like use the tools you like, all each tool has their own purpose and for their own
Hmm.
reason. Just use the tool, we can all get along. We can all get along.
Yeah.
Or just use
I
sales,
know, right?
Just
Yeah, use Sales, please, and make your life easy because no, I was listening to Jason Langstoff. He also likes the boring thing, right? Because I
Mhm.
feel our job as developers is to solve problems with technology. And
Yes.
how fast can you solve the problem where you're adding another layer for always going for something shiny and something new, right?
Mhm.
So I want to use something boring. Like the best tech that I love are tech that just stay in the background and let me be a rock star. Like
Yeah.
you could tell me to build something today. You don't really care what I use. You just want to see the solution to your problem, right? So use the boring thing. Use what you already know. Like I would take years of experience over shiny performance and
Yeah.
edgy anytime, any day. I'll take it.
Yeah. We have one more question here from Toby Solution. So they say, does Laravel and Django have a similar architecture that Sails has, or is Sails way more awesome?
Oh, Toby going spicy. Um, so I think I have a great respect for Laravel because it's Laravel Rails gold standard for what web dev should be. So in fact, Sales was inspired by Laravel and Rails and Django, right? But I think you could call it a little bit more awesome because unlike the other ones, you have to learn JavaScript and something else, JavaScript and PHP. But if you want the superpower or the unfair advantage, like I call it, of using JavaScript everywhere, then you use Sales because your JavaScript skill on the front end translates to the back end. You just need to understand to think server side first, which I think is sometimes lacking these days because most people new to web dev, they maybe start with like a client side framework. Like there was this joke that people can't actually submit a form anymore without Fetch or Axios. It's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, and I actually made a tweet, and it was really curious how most people don't know you could use form, then with the action attribute, then you make some submission.
yep.
So that's kind of lost. Yeah, that's kind of lost because this new and shiny. You have to do everything with Ajax and all that stuff. So yeah, you could say a
I
little bit cool because you learn one language. Go ahead,
I I
Kenesha.
recently saw a tweet, and I don't know if it was a joke, but even if it's a joke, it's not a good joke. They were saying
Not a good.
learn React before JavaScript, and I was like, what?
Ooh.
How are you going to learn a framework before
Mm,
the language that it's based on? That makes no sense.
mm-mm.
But it's JavaScript.
Yeah,
What can we say? It's JavaScript. So
yeah.
another question for
Go
you
ahead.
is Sales participating in Hacktoberfest that's coming up next month?
So the sales the framework because I told you there's sales the framework and there's the boring JavaScript stack. So sales
Uh-huh.
the framework, I'm not sure we're going to participate, but you could actually and actually we are launching something on Hacktoberfest, which I won't really tell, but you should check out on that. So just keep an eye on that one. But the boring JavaScript stack needs a lot of help today, right? Because and I think it's front end framework lovers heavy and friendly too, in the sense that we'll need help with people that like Vue, Svelte, and React to come contribute the templates for the frameworks you like, right? I can write all these frameworks, but I really want most people to like have the feel of, this other way to build a single page application with the boring JavaScript stack, in the sense that you use your component that you love. Because I like the essence of the front end framework, right? The using components to lay out your website is
Mhm.
brilliant. But there's this extra layer of things, you want to do off, use something else. You want to do this,
Mhm.
use something else. So you want to do image, so it's just so third
Too
party.
much.
And yeah, so yeah, but if you don't want all that, and of course it saves you money even, so why not? Because
Yeah.
everything it's local to you, right? There's no third party dependency. You could use this. So use the front end framework you love, then you learn the MVC way. MVC is stable and tried and tested for a reason. So you could come contribute to it. So you could join the
Yes.
Salescast Discord so we could talk about
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Nice. So be sure to
Hmm.
join the Salescast Discord, folks, and go contribute to the boring JavaScript stack. So devs like
Yeah.
me just get to work, but without worrying about a lot of configuration. So
Yeah.
tell me, Kelvin, any parting advice for folks who would like to gain more contributors to their project, or even get started in open source? Like, how did you navigate that world?
Mhm. Yeah. So I've been doing open source longer than I knew the word open source really, right? And
Mm.
it started out for me. So one thing I like is when you're using a tech, it's making your life easy. Shout about it. That's literally what I do of most tech that I use, right? I shout about it, I tell people about it. In fact, that is your very first entry to open source because you're making awareness because there's open source, the project, the tool, and there's open source, the community. So you're
Mm.
enriching the community by letting more people know about, yo, this thing is great, this thing is good. And if you solve a problem, you find out something, you write about it as well. So that's always the entry point. And don't rush to trying to contribute code. You might not even know enough to actually start doing that, but you could write um tutorials, you could do
Mm-hmm.
videos, right? You could answer questions on Stack Overflow or in the Discord, right? Doing all that, you're increasing your confidence knowing the framework. And of course, if you want to dive into the code, in fact, like I would always say, the most underrated part of open source is the biggest thing, which is the source. Most people don't
Mm.
know they can read the code. Like you
Yes.
have, yeah, you have insight into the minds of literally brilliant developers by just reading their code, and you can actually get better for it. So people don't really talk about that enough, and it makes me cringe. But I'm like, am I the only one seeing this? Because that's how I learned how to get better at JavaScript by just reading other people's code. Because if you want to be a good writer, you need to be a good reader. That also
Yes,
translates here. If
that's
you want to
fact.
write code really well, you need to read other people's code. So yeah,
That's a
so
really good
that's
idea for like
mhm.
a series or a stream. Sorry to cut you off. It's just
Yeah,
like,
for
let's
sure.
read some code. Let's read some code instead of like, let's write some code. Let's read some code. Because
Yeah.
that's a dying skill, I feel, especially with AIs and stuff now that can just read it for you and explain
Mm.
it for you. I think it's important to know how to read code, to know how to write code well. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, for sure. I have that show already set up called Source Diving with Kelvin. I've had to pause
Mhm.
for like a couple of weeks because I just moved. That's why you could see my door and not my whole setup because lighting issues and all that stuff. So
You're
Source Diving
fine.
with Kelvin, yeah, is done on Thursdays where we just dive into code and just read and understand. Like I don't know why people are scared to read the code. In fact, that's the first bit to actually know how to contribute to a code base by reading it, understanding it. Of course, there will be daunting if you're a newbie, if you're just getting started, but it's fine. Get confused, go away, take a walk, go to bed, come back again. You're gonna see it in a different light.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up, I'm going to transition into the fun question that our awesome
Ooh.
Rizal came up with. So, my first question to you is, what is your favorite Beyonce song?
Mm. So it's brown skin girl. It's not just her. It's
Hey,
whiskey. Yo, you know that one.
of course.
Uh, I love that one. Then I guess my favorite. I can't even.
Bronson Girl is
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah.
And then another one I want to ask is, what have you been listening to lately? Like, what's been your favorite song lately?
Mm. I've been listening to Sham by Rema. I don't know if you know him. So I like a
Mm,
lot of Afrobeat. Sham. So if you like Afrobeat, if you like the whiskey vibe in Brown Skin Girl, you're gonna love Rema too because his lyrics, the whole thing is just so good. So listen to Sham by Rema. So
mm.
yeah. So that's what
Shamba
I listened
Rema.
to it. Yeah, Sham by Rema. And yeah, a lot of Afrobeats, but I do transition though. So my taste in music differs a lot. I can listen to soundtracks. Like sometimes I just listen to Game of Thrones theme songs when I'm working, right? Or
Nice.
Disney theme songs, right? I like classical music. I like Afrobeat. So I just have a lot of interest in terms of music.
I will say I did just go to an Afrobeat concert about 2 weeks ago, and
Hmm.
it was pretty amazing. I'm forgetting the young
Oh wow.
lady's name now, but I'm sure you know her. She sang that song about vibe killer, something, something,
Oh, Ira
something.
Star.
Yes,
That's
Iris
yes.
Star. Yes,
Yeah,
I really
she's
enjoy
good.
her music and her tune. But
Mm.
that's all for today. Thanks so much, Kelvin, for coming on and telling us all about your amazing project. We loved hearing all about Sails and the boring JavaScript stack. I know for one, I'm definitely going to be using the boring JavaScript stack to build my stacks from going forward. That was a very corny
Yeah.
joke, but thanks so much for joining, Kelvin. Thanks so much for joining
Sure.
everyone. This has been Open Source Friday. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.